Uzo here, and I'm going to give my thoughts on Wildstar, both good and bad. First, the good. I love movement-based combat. The combat in Wildstar is fun. It's very movement-based and aiming-based, and I do think that it takes more skill than the traditional tab target system. However, the bad. The telegraph system is extremely inconsistent, and most of the time, I shouldn't say most of the time, but a lot of the times, your movement is not rewarded. You get hit by telegraphs that you're clearly not in, and people are not hit by telegraphs that you've moved yourself and positioned yourself such that they're in them. It is very, very inconsistent. It seems to produce the illusion of skill. So I think coming from other games, most of us are used to reacting to animations. But as far as I can tell in Wildstar, the animations are total fluff. They're just there to be something pretty to look at that goes with an ability. What matters are the telegraphs, but the problem is that the information that your client gives you about those telegraphs is often completely wrong. So this engineer, he came up behind me and he got the full telegraph on me. I turn around, and what I end up doing here is I end up dodging based off of his animation. But you can see I dodged the animation in the telegraph, but I still get hit anyway. Here a Spellslinger is lining up True Shot on me, and you can see the cast bar there as it's going across. I'm watching that cast bar, and I'm going to dodge right before it reaches completion. I dodge out of his telegraph, which is very narrow, and you can see the muzzle flash there, and I instantly take damage right at his muzzle flash. Now, if you keep on watching this, you'll notice this red line going through the telegraph. That's supposed to be his shot traveling, but it has no correlation at all to when I took the damage. I took the damage immediately at his muzzle flash, even though I had dodged out of his telegraph well before the cast time ended on his shot, and I still got hit. Now, to add insult to injury, let's take a look at what happens when I actually get on him. My first Relentless Strikes misses. He's in the field, but it completely whiffs on him. The next thing you see is damage from Breaching Strikes. Now that's an instant cast ability that has no GCD and it has no telegraph. That hit him even though he is the same distance away. Both of those abilities are 7-meter range. One of them missed, one of them hit. The one that was the telegraph missed, the one that didn't have a telegraph hit. And then immediately after that, he's even further into the range of my Relentless Strikes, and it misses again. Okay, so I forgot. I was supposed to talk about both the good and the bad, so let me talk about the good a little bit. There is skill in the game with aiming and movement. Again, the game doesn't handle it perfectly. So a lot of times, some of your key abilities miss. They just miss, and they are into telegraph according to your client, but it still misses. Now here's an example of someone who's trying to run away from me. I'm low level here, so I don't have a lot of gap closers or way of catching up. I do have Blind, which is a ranged ability. I use that and aim it and hit this person, and it dazes them because they're sprinting, and it allows me to catch up and kill them. Now here's something I really like about the game. When you dodge roll, it doesn't always interrupt your abilities. It interrupts, certain abilities like casting abilities, but the melee abilities, it doesn't seem to interrupt them. So I'm low health and this second person gets on me, and what I do is I start my kick when they're out of range, but I dodge roll into him and it puts the kick in range, right, and it knocks him down. So this fight's an example where skill and movement does matter. I mean, no offense to this person, but he doesn't move very well at all. He just kind of stands still. He lets me get around behind him. He doesn't do a lot of damage to me, and he starts the fight at a huge advantage. This fight I have, 6 or 7 people on me. I think there's 4 or 5 melee and 2 range there. And what I'm doing is I'm jousting with the melee. I'm trying to maximize the time that the melee's in my telegraphs and minimize the time that I'm in their telegraphs. Now, it's impossible for me to avoid all of it. And the range that's on the outside, well, they're playing easy mode, firing in there. They're going to hit me no matter what I do. So I'm just trying to avoid the melee, and I want to try to take a few of them out with me.
Double kill.
So the game is fun, But a competitive game, I don't understand the people who are playing arenas that, can play this game when the abilities fail this much. I mean, you are using the information that your client is giving you accurately, and you're not rewarded. You miss these abilities. People hit abilities when you're not in their telegraph. How can you consider this a competitive game when that happens? And it's not infrequent. It's very, very common that this happens. You see here some missed kicks. Now here's a nice situation. We get a return or a drop on the mask, and they start to try to pick it up. Well, I do a kick, and it knocks down one of the people in the field, but not the other person in the field, and they end up picking up the flag. You can imagine how I felt about that. Move out of it. Oh, no, man. Okay, I literally have a hard drive full of clips like this where you see these problems with the telegraph system. But I'm just going to go ahead and end this with one fight, because this one fight pretty much has it all. So there's a warrior and an esper here, and I want to get on this esper, so I go to knock them down. But who gets knocked down? The warrior who's behind me, not the esper who's directly in front of me in my field. And here's a complete whiff on Relentless Strikes. Oh, here they knock me down and they're doing their burst combination on me. I dodge roll out of it, I dodge roll through them on the other side of their telegraph. I'm well behind them, and I still get hit. What is that? What is that? And why not just go ahead and add a second quote unquote missed kick to this fight?